the question is, well, what's going to motivate the people in the middle? And so can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, is it the healthcare, is it the Ryan budget, or is it something else entirely?
Well, I think that the Republican campaigns are focusing on healthcare, Carol, because it does galvanize their base, and they know that. But their base has been against the healthcare law from the beginning. That hasn't changed, and that's their rock solid number. But every poll also shows that a majority of Americans say we should work on healthcare and make changes where needed, not repeal it and start over. I think that what's critical for Democrats to do across the country in 2014 is go back to the economic debate that we had. I don't think we're just focusing on the Ryan budget, nor should we, although it is the gift that keeps on giving, because it really lays out a very clear, concise contrast between what Democrats believe economically and what Republicans believe. I think the electorate rejected the top-down approach, tax cuts for the wealthy, putting the burden on the middle class approach that the Republicans advocated in 2012. And I think the Democrats have to go back to taking those economic issues head on again, like they did in 2012, and draw that contrast with the Republicans.
Neil, what do you think?
Well, the Democrats have a very different challenge in 2014 than they had in 2012. 2014, this is, you talk about the base, you talk about motivating the base. Democrats aren't trying to, they don't care about enthusiasm. I'm putting words in your mouth. They don't care, I know. They don't care about voter enthusiasm. They don't care about motivating their base. All they care about is them voting. And I think we learned in the last election that voter intensity and voter enthusiasm doesn't equal always people turning out at the polls. And I think what you're going to see in this next election and run up the election is President Obama using every executive privilege he can to pick off niche issues to appeal to different constituencies within the Democratic Party to encourage them to be more likely to vote. I mean, Obama's numbers, his presidential approval numbers, have fallen 8 or 9 points since last election, and even greater among voters who he needs, among single women, among Hispanics, among Latinos, and among young voters. And those are key voter constituencies. And I think you're going to see them going after, a variety of kind of niche issues, niche concerns to try to do whatever they can to increase turnout among those voters.
I mean, if I could just, I think when you talk about something like the vote today in the Senate on raising the minimum wage, this is not a niche issue. This is an issue that affects millions of Americans, and so we're not going to run a campaign just on the base in these states or a campaign just on independent voters. If you're going to win these states, which is what this is not a national election. These are individual state Senate races, for example, where we need to do both. And the good thing for Democrats is that, I disagree with the senator on this, is the American people actually trust Democrats more on these basic issues. Look at the Wall Street Journal poll on these basic issues of middle-class values. When you look at women's issues, when you look at these fundamental issues that aren't niche issues at all, not only are they appealing to independent voters and voters who are going to turn out who are likely voters, they're also issues that galvanize our base. And I think you can look at the vote today as a great example of that.